Welcome back to Ancient Signals, that flickering liminal space between what we know and what we aren't supposed to. The motel room was cheap, anonymous, and smelled faintly of chlorine and despair. Aris, Elena, and Ben huddled around a single stolen laptop, the low hum of the air conditioning unit providing their only cover. They were on the run, their observatory compromised, their prime number sequence, the undeniable proof of alien communication, hidden in the repeating FRB signals, their only asset. An asset is useless if you can't share it. And now that they knew the message was an intelligent, sustained contact, they needed to find a new thread, one that was so far on the fringes that Control wouldn't even think to look for it. Aris pulled up the files he'd squirreled away years ago, the truly strange, discredited theories he kept locked in a virtual vault. He focused on a decades-old enigma, a ghost in Earth's orbit. A story so steeped in folklore and fringe conjecture that mainstream science spits out its name: the Black Knight satellite. Imagine for a moment a giant, dark, tumbling object estimated to weigh 10 tons, orbiting Earth in a highly polar orbit, an orbit no natural satellite and no human technology of the time was capable of sustaining. The legend claims it was spotted as far back as 1899 by Nikola Tesla, and again in the 1950s, before any human had launched a satellite. The official, mainstream historical fact is that the famous 1960 sighting was merely debris from a failed US Air Force mission, likely a piece of insulation from the Discoverer 8 rocket. But Aris didn't care about the official story. He cared about the rhythm. He remembered the quirky tidbit about the object. In 1927, radio operators Jorgen Hals and Carl Stormer began detecting strange long-delayed echoes, LDES, radio signals sent out that returned seconds or even minutes later, a phenomenon still not fully explained by natural means. Some fringe theories connected these LDES directly to a supposed extraterrestrial object in high orbit, an automated repeater. Aris looked from the LDE theory to the Black Knight, and then back to their own decoded FRB prime sequence. The FRBs are a conversation, Aris whispered, tracing the prime numbers on the screen. And the wow signal echo was the first ping. But what if the Black Knight isn't a message? What if it's the post office? Elena, despite her anxiety, found herself drawn in. Her scientific training demanded a link. The Black Knight's supposed orbit is polar, she pointed out, her voice a low purr of logic. If it's a surveillance or relay probe, a polar orbit gives it visibility over the entire planet over time. It's perfect for long-term monitoring. Or, she paused, a flicker of fear crossing her eyes, for echoing signals. She knew that historians still argue whether the 1927 long-delayed echoes were an atmospheric fluke or the first true sign of a response from an intelligent agency. For her, that ambiguity was now a path forward. Ben, meanwhile, had managed to access a live feed from an array of amateur deep space tracking telescopes. He filtered the data for the known orbital path of the alleged Black Knight debris. On the screen, a small, dark object resolved itself. It wasn't tumbling. It was stable. And as it passed over a known FRB source galaxy, Ben noticed a subtle energy signature. It's not just passively reflecting, Ben exclaimed, pointing to a tertiary data channel. It's active. It's receiving the prime number FRB sequence we decoded, holding it, and then rebroadcasting it in a lower, safer band. It's a cosmic digital tape recorder, Aris, and it's been orbiting for centuries, maybe millennia, relaying a warning. The raw data stream flowing from the supposed space junk was unmistakably relaying the prime sequence they had just narrowly escaped with. The ancient myth was a modern repeater. The conversation was being conducted on two frequencies, one in deep space and one right above their heads. You probably won't survive this level of scrutiny, but let's keep going. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let him know where you are right now, what local time it is, and share the darkness with him. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The Black Knight satellite, the ultimate conspiracy theory, was suddenly a crucial piece of the puzzle. It wasn't just space junk or an old piece of foil. It was the echo chamber itself, a low Earth orbiter repeating the intelligent FRB message in a frequency band that the official space agencies, focusing only on the high-energy bursts, had dismissed as background noise. They realized the repeating FRB signal wasn't just a communication to Earth, it was a conversation through Earth, utilizing the Black Knight as a relay to maximize the planet's surface coverage. Aris and Elena worked the numbers, running the Black Knight's low-band signal through their FRB decoding matrix. The signal was a compressed, cyclical loop. Aris recognized the structure immediately: the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, a symbol of eternal recurrence, perfectly represented in a repeating, looping data packet. The message the satellite was relaying wasn't just the prime number sequence. It was a complete predictive mathematical model of Earth's solar system, a kind of watchman's manual dating back thousands of years. They were holding a 13,000-year-old owner's manual for their own planet. The complexity was breathtaking. The ancient Sumerian knowledge that Aris had obsessed over suddenly made perfect sense. The information was being beamed down by a tireless automated probe. This quirky tidbit, the alarmingly precise Sumerian knowledge of the outer solar system, now felt like direct data transfer.
We have to go!
Historians still argue whether the myths of sky gods teaching early civilizations astronomy were purely metaphorical or based on some actual, external guidance. Now, Aris had the data to prove the latter. The Black Knight was the source of all the fringe knowledge, a steady drip feed of information throughout human history. But Ben, monitoring the secondary systems, saw something far more terrifying. He noticed that the Black Knight's transmissions weren't constant. They had a specific downtime, a maintenance window, and during that window, a second, much fainter signal originated from the satellite, a highly encrypted, proprietary digital burst. "It's not transmitting to us during the down cycle, Aris," Ben said, his voice flat with horror. "It's transmitting from us. Look at the data packet headers. The signal wasn't the prime number sequence. It was a real-time feed of low-orbit surveillance data, packaged and directed to a specific ground station." Ben traced the packet's destination, a secure black site terminal with an IP address that belonged to the exact same closed-loop network that had been tracking their burner phones. It was the address for control. The Black Knight satellite wasn't just an alien probe. It had been secretly co-opted. The entity known as Control wasn't trying to silence a new threat. They were managing an existing asset. They had either intercepted the signal from the probe or, far worse, had established a backdoor, turning the ancient alien watchmen into their own ultimate spy platform. This explains the official lie. You can't admit the existence of an ancient, high-tech satellite if you are using it yourself. They had to get the coordinates to Elena's contact, the one person outside the system who might be able to broadcast this to the world. Aris pulled out the satellite phone. The transmission had to be fast, precise, and untraceable. He looked at the looping data on the screen. The ancient Ouroboros.
They tracked the signal.
They had decoded a warning from the stars, only to discover that the enemy wasn't out there. The enemy was using the warning system against them, turning the Cosmic Sentinel into the ultimate instrument of domestic surveillance. The Black Knight, the persistent ghost of the night sky, is silent for a moment as its broadcast cycle turns over. This is the most dangerous truth yet, that the secrets we seek are often intertwined with the lies we live. The ancient signal and the modern surveillance state are one and the same. The Black Knight satellite serving as the nexus where extraterrestrial communication meets terrestrial control. Every time you've heard the legend of the Black Knight dismissed as space junk, you are being actively misled by an organization that has privatized the Cosmic Watchman. Breathe in the quiet, for it is the sound of the system working perfectly. Aris, Elena, and Ben now know the full extent of the enemy's power, an eternal, orbital eye that sees everything. They are no longer just looking for a message. They are attempting a rebellion against an ancient truth that has been weaponized by modern power. They have the key, the Ouroboros code, but to use it, they must now find a way to hack the ultimate spy in the sky. If you want to keep deciphering these ancient signals, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.